Bonjour. This is the second video for this chapter in the Transmat Khatr, Cluster Khatrium book, and this video continues from where the last one left off, and it will be a short video. I just want to show you some certain principles of solving problems, how to do that systematically. Okay, so let's turn back the page. And remember, this is the problem I showed you. We use these principles to solve the problem. What are the principles? That you can add numbers to both sides of an equation of an egalite without changing it. Similarly, you can subtract numbers from both sides, multiply both sides by the same number as long as it's not 0, and divide both sides by the same number as long as it's not 0. So this is the way we had done this. 5x minus 4 is equal to 3x plus 10. That was the given equation. I subtracted minus 3x. I subtracted 3x from both sides. That gave us 2x minus 4 is equal to 10. I added 4 to both sides. That gave me 2x is equal to 14. I divided both sides by 2. That gave me x is equal to 7. Now, these circles in red, these extra steps or these detailed steps are necessary to explain to you what exactly you are doing. But if you are comfortable with this, then you can do them the normal way, which is you take on the opposite side. You can do it like this. 5x minus 4 is equal to 3x plus 10. You take 3x to this side, you change its sign. Now you see, this is what it's not a mathematical expression. Take it from one side to the other and change its sign. But what you're doing is you're subtracting 3x from both sides. This one becomes 0, and this side you have a minus 3x. So what you're doing is you're taking 3x to this side, you're taking minus 4 to that side, and that becomes plus 4. You get 2x is equal to 14, because 5x minus 3x is 2x. 10 plus 4 is 14. So you get x is equal to 14 over 2, x is equal to 7. So now if you have to ever solve an equation like this, you can do it in this way, but you cannot omit any one of these steps. Each one of them is necessary. I lay great emphasis on solving problems systematically. If you take shortcuts, I will be very, very unhappy. And also what will happen is, if you take shortcuts, you will make mistakes. I've already seen that with some of you. Some of you are in the habit of writing without explanations, writing very short explanations or none at all, and very few steps, and then you end up making mistakes. You know who you are. I will not name you in the video. So please, please, please do things systematically. Don't try to save on paper, because now I'm going to be very, very strict. If you do this, I'm going to just mark it wrong and ask you to redo. I won't even look at it. I'm not just going to look at the correct answer and say, oh, okay, he or she got the correct answer, so it's all right. Now I'm going to look at every single step. I'm going to see that you put in every single step. I'm not saying this lightheartedly. For in my class, you have to be systematic. Don't worry about saving paper. Get extra notebooks. Write clearly. Write neatly. Have a lot of white space. Look, I have a lot of white space. I'm not cramming things. I'm not writing in 2 columns. I want you to write like this. Also see, I've got all the equal sign in one line vertically. Don't have the equal sign moving left, right, zigzag. Always in a one line. Okay, so now this chapter teaches you how to do 2 things. One is how to solve equations. Now we have seen that. I admit you already knew it, but now you've learned it a little bit more systematically. And the second part is how to turn a problem that is stated to you into an equation so that you can solve it. That is sometimes trickier, because you have to then reason, you have to think, and sometimes you even have to decide about certain things before you can come to an equation. after you get an equation, solving it is straightforward, just like I show in this example. So I'll take an example from the book. I've translated it into English, but then I'll solve it in French because I want you to use certain terms when you solve the problems. So, a group of friends want to rent a mountain hut for the weekend. So they decide to share the expense equally. Each person has to pay 70 euros. At the last moment, two of them decide not to go. So two friends decide not to go. The remaining friends now have to pay 90 euros each. The question is, how many friends finally went for the weekend? So, how do we start with this? So the first thing is, what do we want to know? So let's assign our unknown. So we can say swat x. So first you have to define, and if you solve an equation like this without defining what x is, straight away wrong, even though you might get the correct answer finally. So swat x le nom des amis initial. So this is an absolutely necessary line. Swat x or prenons x or let x be. Every problem like this has to start with this. You can use any letter. X is traditionally used for an unknown, but you could use A, B, C, D, whichever letter you like. So here I've used x for the sake of tradition. Soit x le nom des amis initial. So what? Donc le loyer pour le mountain hut. Mountain hut, I think in French is called gîte. But anyway, donc le loyer pour le mountain hut. Loyer is rent. For the mountain hut is 70 into x, because each person had to pay 70. Correct? But the loyer est aussi x moins 2 fois 90. So what is x moins 2? This is the number of friends who finally went. If x number of friends decided to go initially, finally two fewer went. Two of them decided not to go, two dropped out, so finally x minus 2 went. And these number had to pay 90 euros each. They had to pay 90 euros each to cover the rent. So therefore this number is the rent of the building of the mountain hut. This is also the rent of the mountain hut. So you have an equation, because you can take this expression is equal to that expression, and that is what we have done. Donc on obtient l'équation 70x est égal à x moins 2 fois 90. I could of course have written 90 into x minus 2 instead of x minus 2 into 90. Okay, so then we solve it. First thing is we expand, we remove the bracket, so we get 70x is equal to 90x minus 180. We move x to this side, 70x minus 90x is equal to minus 180. Minus 20x, 70x minus 90x is minus 20x is equal to minus 180. Therefore, x is equal to minus 180 over minus 20, x is equal to 9. So what is x? What is 9? 9 is the number of friends who decided to go initially. Number of friends who initially decided to go. So, donc il y avait 9 amis initialement et finalement sont partis x moins 2. Only 2, x minus 2. 2 fewer people went than 9. So 9 minus 2 is equal to 7 amis. So finally the answer is 7 friends went to. How many friends finally went? The answer is 7 friends. So you see, again I am going to zoom out a little, and you can see that the problem starts there and I solve it all the way here. It doesn't start here. I don't start it here with the equation. I define first what is x, what I am taking as x, then I get the two terms, two sides of the equation, and then I solve it. And finally, because I don't get the actual answer, I get the number of students who, number of friends who wanted to go initially. I want the number of friends who finally went. Then I have to do an extra calculation and come to that. Okay. So what do you see here? I've taken great pains to solve it like this. There are two reasons for doing this systematically. One is that you tend to make fewer mistakes. Trust me, if you try to take shortcuts, you will make mistakes. The second is that now that I have written this, if I wasn't speaking on this video and I sent this to you as a photo, and without any explanation, you would understand everything that goes on here. So that is the second part of doing things systematically, that it should be clear to anyone who sees it, independent of you, that what you have done. And really, sometimes if you don't do this systematically, don't solve problems systematically, after a few days when you look at your results, you will yourself not figure out what you have done. Secondly, you see here, I have not written anything up there. I have not written any number here, any number here. I am writing top to down. So that is also now a rule I will impose strictly. Paper or no paper, you turn the page if necessary, but you will not write things here. You will only write top to down. Once you have written a line, once you have written at a certain horizontal level, you will not write above it at all. So that, if you wrote something here in the margins, we won't know that when I was reading it independently, or even when you were reading it independently after a few months, where that number came from or where that value came from. You would not know, because initially you had written it after coming to this point. Okay. Now, this problem can be solved in another way also. So I will do that. So here we have taken soit x le nom des amis initial. But they actually want how many friends finally went. So why don't we take that as our unknown rather than the number of friends who initially decided to go. And that is another way of doing it. So this is, we say, and just for the sake of clarity, I've used a different number, te. I could have again used x, because each time I'm defining what x is or what the unknown is. So I say soit te le nom des amis qui sont finalement partis pour le week-end. Donc le loyer est 90 fois t, 90 t. T is the number of friends who finally went. Each had to pay 90 euros, so 90 t. But also, et aussi le foyer est 70 fois t plus 2. Initially, how many friends wanted to go? If this is the number of friends who finally went, initially t plus 2 wanted to go, so then they had to pay 70 each, 70 euros. So this is the rent as well as this is the rent. So then we put them in an equation. 90t is equal to 70t plus 140. 70t plus 140. Really, you see, I made a shortcut here. I should have written 90t is equal to, equal to should come there, 70, not easy to write holding the phone in one hand, looking at the paper and the screen at the same time, but serves me right for not doing it correctly in the first place. So I should have written 90t is equal to 70 into t plus 2. This is equal to this. Then I expand it. 90t is equal to 70t plus 140. I bring 70t to this side by subtracting 70t from both sides. I get 90t minus 70t is equal to 140. 20t is equal to 140. T is equal to 140 over 20. So t is equal to 7 amis. And this is the final answer. This is what we wanted. 7 amis, so partie finalement, because t, so we have defined t as the nom des amis qui sont finalement partis. So here also you got 70, and here also you got, seven friends. Here also you got 7 friends. So you see, this is the way I want you to solve a problem. Look at the amount of white space. It's a little messy there, I'm sorry. I'm showing you and I made a mistake, but this is the way you have to do. You have to keep the equal signs in one line. Don't worry about the white space. Do it very, very, very systematically. This is the first chapter in this of all the chapters we have done so far. where this is truly required, where you're converting a statement of a problem like this into a mathematical equation or expression like this. Okay, so this is the way you should solve problems. There is no in-video problem. I will give you some problems to do from the book as homework, and that will be a graded assignment for today. I stop here. I upload this video very soon.